into a solo lane in response.
Well, we'll have to find out here as we are back into Champ Select for game number 2. World Elite going to swap over to the blue side. QG over on the red. Rise and Rek'Sai actually the first 2 bans. So QG not only first pick it on the blue side in game 1, but ban it on the red side here. So don't even want to give it away to Condi, as Tom Kench will join the bans there as well. And Graves. Because why not ban more junglers, QG?
Well, Xiaogu showed they're not afraid of a Lissandra or Lulu first rotation draft. They know how to beat it. And so if they get rid of the champions that Xiaogu picked in their first rotation, then why not, you know? Prompt them. Say, go on, pick the Lulu again, and we'll see if the strategy works twice in a row.
Well, I guess we'll have to find out soon. We do have a couple more bans to go through, though. As you can see, there's the last Misfortune ban, actually, for World Elite this time. So going to make sure they get out of the way. And last ban now coming up for QG. It is Lee Sin, so 3 junglers banned on their side. Really targeting Condi here.
Yeah, definitely sending a message. Kindred's probably going to be the natural response one more time from Condi. The question is, in this rotation, knowing that either Lulu or Lissandra should be locked in, will Xiaogu take that away?
See, and that would be a really cool thing to watch, right? Because Swift has only played Rek'Sai up until this point. Obviously cannot play it in this game because they banned it. But you would expect World Elite to take something like the Lulu, like the Lissandra. That would leave QG with something like Kindred Lissandra or Kindred Lulu as their first 2 picks.
Or even, I was going to say, the Alistar potentially.
Oh, that's true. He is left open as well.
Alistar is definitely available this time to be taken. So wouldn't be surprised if that's the next rotation. Or, you know what? No hesitation.
Who needs the new jungle item? Straight for the Nidalee here for Swift.
Only Swift.
That was an insta-lock by the QG jungler.
That was a strategy right there. They put the strategy straight into effect. Ban out Condi, take away the Nidalee. I guess Swift is very confident that whatever he picks, he can beat him.
And who's the #1 jungler to maybe match Nidalee in presence? It's probably Lee Sin, but they banned him away as well.
Yeah, Lee Sin or Rek'Sai, really.
There's Alistar also coming out for QG, so another strong pick. Alistar is once again going to see play in every single game, one way or the other, either sitting out on the sidelines in the ban list or out onto the Rift. This time in the hands of Moore from QG, as Shia is flashing the LeBlanc here. Would maybe want to deny it from Dornby. They did ban it in game number 1. Dornby, of course, went straight back to a different comfort pick in Victor, but wouldn't be a bad pick. We've seen quite a lot of successful LeBlanc, actually, this week.
We definitely have. Very strong with the Twin Ghost build as well. Well, it's not Twin Ghost anymore. I should never say that. The Spooky Ghost.
It puts out 2 ghosts. That's kind of the same.
All right, we'll go with Twin Ghost for now. But this next rotation from World Elite, actually quite standard at the moment. It seems as though whenever there's an Alistar, there's going to be a Thresh in response. And for some reason, the AD carry with the Alistar is always Kalista.
Yep.
Because that's just the way that it's working.
Got to throw the cow in. I mean, Trundle could be a pick here again for Zero, but I feel like Zero just likes to default to Thresh. We've seen him play Thresh before. He's a very good Thresh player. So I do like these picks here. Thresh and LeBlanc will be the finalized choices here for World Elite. But that does give Dornby knowledge of the matchup, of course. If there's anyone that's ever going deep on a counter pick, it is often Dornby. I know you mentioned the Maokai jokingly before. I believe it was actually against the LeBlanc. Because their coach told them it was the LeBlanc counter. I'm just telling everyone the story. I don't think it's going to happen.
It's not a LeBlanc counter either. Like, he was right, but it's not something you actively pick in a competitive
They were
game.
supposed to give it to V, okay? That's apparently the rest of that story. And then Dornby was like, nah, I got this.
So keeping V in mind as well, 957 is now guaranteed to be on this Lulu in the top lane, so they're actually both getting the counter picks of their solo lanes.
That's a very good point. Usually you get one counter pick here on the red side, but they're going to get both, arguably. In fact, QG, once again, might just take up the bottom lane, although Dornby is going to flick over to that Nautilus. Only about 5 seconds left now. What's a QG want to take here? MF is banned, so Pekka will have to pick up a different AD carry. You mentioned Kalista already as that pairing. It could be that, but Ezreal Nautilus are going to be pickups here, so leaving a little bit more flexibility in these lanes.
It's definitely still quite vague. You'd have to assume V one more time on that top lane Nautilus, but the Ezreal can go middle or it can go AD carry. We've seen different teams playing it in different positions. Of course, Def, the best example, was playing it as an AD carry.
Yep.
Whereas other teams have just mostly, I would have to say, go towards that mid lane.
So Ghosty played mid yesterday. Pawn actually played at mid in that same series that you mentioned with Def's Ezreal.
Oh, Condi, please.
Start the week. I was just going straight to Rengar. I mean, they've banned effectively 4 junglers here by banning 3 and picking 1. Condi might not have too many options left.
But Kindred's still there.
That's true, but maybe he really wants to Rengar people. Maybe Zero is having some fun.
Default to solo queue. That's what you do. If they ban you out, default to your best solo queue champion that never works in competitive.
Well, I'm sure Swift knows his way around Rengar, so not going to be too fussed here. But if Condi wants to pick it, it would definitely be more in line with the aggression from the jungle. Maybe doesn't want to pick Kindred and just get run over by Nidalee, but we'll have to see how this pick works out. Are these going to be it for World Elite? Looks like it. Lucian and Rengar are their final picks.
I don't disagree with a Rengar pick, but I have this fundamental flaw with Rengar against Swift as a jungler, because he will know where you are at all times from level 1 to 6, and Rengar does get a little bit low in that first jungle clear. Swift has shown that his jungling doesn't necessarily involve taking camps, it's watching you take camps.
Yep.
And if he can catch that Rengar at all with a single spear, he's going to die.
And Nidalee's still good at clearing jungle and killing people. That's kind of her MO. Swift does like to play a lot of these good duelist junglers. Nidalee's certainly up there. But we do have one more pick, of course, to come through. Could be anywhere, likely a solo lane. Probably mid lane and AD carry is the pick they're debating between. And we do see Kassadin highlighted here for more, which would, of course, mean that is going to be Ezreal over to Pekko. But 10 seconds now for QG to really lock these picks down.
And, of course, one of the two picks into LeBlanc, you would have to say, Victor or Kassadin. The two options that Doinby would go for. Of course, Kassadin doesn't do that well in laning phase, but you have the Q, put some levels into it, and you're actually fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine, absolutely, but he's going to be looking for a bit more farm early on. But it is a lock-in here for QG. They kind of flick between Victor and Kassadin. Did decide on Kassadin towards the end. So Doinby going to take another unique champion here. Did play, again, lots of LeBlanc and Victor, but with that being taken away, he's been forced onto some different picks, but by no means uncomfortable picks for him.
And I have to question one more time. GA, we know he's the teleport guy. If you think of GA, you think of maybe MSI when he goes Diana, gets teleport. I can't help but question it. I really can't.
We'll see if he swaps the summoner spell by the time we get into the game, but I agree. I think if anyone's going to be taking teleport, it's probably going to be Doinby's Kassadin in that mid lane.
Well, because at the moment, where are you going with the teleport besides back to your lane? Usually there's been fights on other lanes. You've been teleporting in as a mid laner because you've been irrelevant. But now that everyone's going mid and playing this fake ARAM type of style, you don't actually have a lot of use for the teleport.
No, not really. Not until the map opens up. You do see the lineups, though, on your screen. Pretty similar looking drafts for both teams. Probably the jungle mix-up might be the biggest thing there. Rengar and Nidalee, two very aggressive junglers, going to be going head-to-head here as Condi takes on Swift in that matchup.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how this goes. You have to look towards Swift in this matchup right now.
Always.
Of course, that's the direction you're going to direct it, but between a Rengar and a Nidalee, there's going to be someone snowballing out of control. That is the biggest thing you can take away from this draft.
Certainly is. Well, with that, we are going to get ourselves into game number 2. Can QG sweep the series or World Elite bring it back? We're going to find out shortly. And here we are for game number 2. QG find themselves up 1-0 after a very quick first game. But World Elite are going to see if they can bring it back and force a third here. So you do see Condi moving out now on Rengar this time around. But Swift on Nidalee could be a very volatile jungle matchup here. We'll have to see how things start out. But we've seen Swift do pretty disgusting things on this champion before. There's Doinby and Xie going to say hello to each other. Kassadin and LeBlanc, another interesting lane matchup to watch there in mid.
Something to consider right now, and teams may not be fully aware of this as a thing that they can do, is every single blue side jungler is starting in that same bush, that little dot bush that doesn't basically count as a bush. It's just like a gap in vision. They all start there. 100% of the time they just stand there. So if you're vigilant or you've got a team that can pick that jungler out, you can blind assume that they're in that bush at the moment and kill them.
Yep. Well, no invasion this time. Just some movement back here towards the bottom half of the jungle for World Elite. Condi looks like he wants the Krugs, and Swift looks like he also wants the same. So red starts. They'll be on opposite sides, though, so they'll make their way to different parts of the map, although it could be Pekko actually, with a bit of help from Swift, actually starting out those Krugs. So we'll see. Swift usually gets help, doesn't give help to other people.
He should be starting Krugs. He's just going to pounce over once he gets that, I forget what it's called now on the W. They hunt it, sorry, when they get hunted.
Yep. Gets that passive going. Has the traps down, of course. There they are. Pekko with a bit of help. Thank you very much, sir. And going to be taken this pretty easily. Once again, Nidalee, relatively unchanged since you've probably last seen her. Not nearly as powerful, but still flies through the jungle at lightning speed.
Definitely does. Of course, smart play there from Swift, utilizing all of the traps in combo, getting 4 resets on that jump. Very smart and efficient work as V. This time is not going to be impeded on taking away the small blue ones. He gets both.
He's not stopped by Zero, but is going to have to join his jungler here. So we have had another lane swap by the looks of things. You see Condi actually with a bit of help from 957, so more double jungling once again. You can see Pekka on the top side there. And of course, Mystic down the bottom. So we'll see how this lane swap goes. We saw QG really outplay World Elite in the first game.
So the biggest difference between the two right now is the exact same as the last game. Look at where Swift is. He knows they're double jungling. He's invading the blue buff. He's going to take that straight away whilst V's farming.
And there's a recall actually in the bottom lane. So V with great timing and Swift with some great play is going to actually move in and collect a bunch of farm. Level 2 now. After the little creeps that he took away from the jungle. Leaves the big ones to Swift, obviously, because they're worth more experience. And QG, again, just seems like they've got the better start of this jungle. There's the blue buff going away from Condi.
Exactly right. Now you're looking at Xiaogu, this time getting a 3 buff start and free farm, a slight advantage one more time for V on this Nautilus. The biggest difference is probably going to be middle lane. But of course, Swift knows that. And Swift only has one lane that he needs to address.
Yep. Comes into pressure mid. Doesn't get the spear, so no damage down, but we'll give Doinby a bit more room. V going straight in. That's a level 1 Lulu. Takes about 50% of the health bar down already.
And that was with a missing hook. That is not a position you want to find yourself in as 957. He's going to have to use at least one of the potions. And it's funny how such a small impact from Swift. He's walking mid and using heal on Doinby. And now Doinby is well and truly out-trading this LeBlanc.
He's just poking. She is out of mana at this point, I think. I don't know how many charges I've got left of the Corrupting Potion, but I can't imagine it's like too many. Well, Doinby certainly winning the early game. Swift going for the dive now. He takes a tower hit as a result. Oh, very nice. W back there from Shea to escape that. But Swift is getting real angry in the early stages. This is super aggressive jungle play.
Absolutely is, and this is to be expected. Rengar's early jungling, he needs to recall first before he has an impact on this map, and even then, Swift is blind looking for anyone that he possibly can find.
Gonna find a pink ward, does get it. Bounces back towards it. His blue is still up as well, by the way. So Condi, who I guess assumed it's already done, wants just going to go through his safe side of the jungle, but that could even be an early blue for Doinby, which will get him through some of the struggles he might have in lane against the LeBlanc.
So while we're not actually getting a lot of action, 2 fun facts about Nidalee that we just saw utilized by Swift is changing forms is an immediate auto attack reset, so you can change an auto attack with no delay. Makes your jungling clear a lot quicker. That and if you auto attack to last hit something, he did it with the ward in ranged form. V, you need to be careful.
Yeah, he might actually die here. We'll have to say fun facts for later. Condi does get the kill. V with no flash and a first blood for Rengar.
Jeez, that is not a situation you want to be. World Elite find their way back into this game essentially from what was a 3 buff beginning. Swift has just spent the rest of the time farming, looking for those items, whereas Condi, we said he's not great until he gets his first items and first buy. Well, he got that, and now he's got a kill.
Yep. Gonna have that longsword helping out. Gonna be moving in towards Warrior Tracker's Knife, you have to think. But Swift still moving through the jungle nice and quickly will give himself the blue buff. So lots of very aggressive farming here, you can see. Not actually too far ahead of Condi right now as far as creeps go, but should fly pretty far forward here, especially if he continues to take jungle away. But Condi's just ganking at this point.
It's not really doable to gank mid. He's just kind of here to prevent Swift from doing it and saying that. Wrong lane.
Yep. Good juke though from 957. No trap, not going to arm quite fast enough. Swift will move in. Spear's good. Will jump in. Thunderlord's procs. Does go straight for the execute. Barely misses it there. And that tower hit, no, doesn't keep finishing. Swift will live. That was a very aggressive dive.
That was actually just poke. There was a real kill threat, but it wasn't that substantial. Swift was, for the most part, just pushing 957 out of lane. We've seen when 957 is behind, he really struggles with what to do. He's a solo queue player.
Ooh, play there onto Pekka. Good flash out from the Ezreal though. More now going to get locked up though as Condi's here. He's got no ult. He does flash out. Heal's good there as well. Might be enough, but the autos are coming in. Condi with another kill, but Pekka almost gets enough to kill him. But now the damage is coming back down. No more CC. Pekka will back away, and Condi gets his second kill of the game.
They absolutely tried their hardest there, the bottom lane of the Xiaogu side, to get a trade in their favor, but Condi and the rest of World Elite play it impeccably one more time. They get themselves a 2-0 and 0 Rengar. He's a big threat in mid.
A good juke there of that spear. Level 6 now does throw the chain up, but will go slightly wide. Doinby now level 6 can also start to get a bit more aggressive. He's got a Negatron cloak finished up nice and early as well. And Shea has a Dark Seal in his inventory.
Yeah, that is...
Baby Magi's.
That's so aggressive. decision-making wise, you can see Doinby doesn't think he should have it.
Nope, just going to go straight back in on him. Good Q there, actually. Shake off some of the other Q damage from LeBlanc.
This is a point, though, where these two trading aggressively will result in one of them dying in about a minute. Because Rengar, he's bottom, actually. He's going to be level 6 soon.
Ooh, 957 could be in trouble. Spear misses there after a flash from 957. Condi there to defend. And no kill forthcoming for QG in any of these lanes.
No, not a kill, but again, a lot of pressure is actually starting to find its way onto the map. Cassidy is still in control in a lane where he probably shouldn't be in control of, and has only just ticked over that level 6 mark. So doing very well here, Xiaogu. Swift really likes that bottom lane turret.
He does.
Wants it to hit him.
Just took 2 hits, but now V's going to get locked up. Slow there as well from the Glitterland side as Lulu, and V just can't go anywhere. He's got no flash. Condi gets his third kill of the game.
It could be
and
in range.
Swift going to get leapt on. Oh, barely out of range. That would have been a bowler for sure if Swift didn't flash.
So, World Elite, they've found themselves with 3 kills onto Condi. The downside of this is that all 3 kills are onto Condi. He basically has to be an AD Rengar now.
Yep.
There is no option for him to go tank because he can't snowball the rest of the map or impact it as effectively as Swift can on this Nidalee.
Yep, and he's got Caulfield Tamara. He's going for that Warrior, which is fairly standard, but see where he goes with the build after that. He's certainly going to have to continue the snowball here. He's been gifted all of that early gold. And you can see we do have the Runeglaive coming up for Swift. He does have that sheen. I have to say goodbye to it in the patch time, but I'm sure it'll be just fine with a new jungle item as well.
Oh, you can go Runic Echoes into Lichbane anyway.
True.
That'll probably favor Swift more, to be perfectly honest with you. Gives him the cooldown reduction and the Luden's Echo passive on it. Those spears hurt.
And here comes the good old solo Q Rengar. This is pretty common. Condi's going to line up. He's got all the Fury ready. GA dives in. He's, I think, baiting Doinby into using his ulti.
Yeah, he is. He's waiting. Probably when the chains miss, you'll find that Doinby gets over aggressive. So if GA can naturally find a spot to aim for chains, Doinby will pick his point.
Playing nice and safe, though, does Riftwalk away now. Rengar also coming in. They might just go for a dive. Chain will land. Condi leaps in. Bowler's going to be there, and Doinby's going to go down. Condi again with a kill, but the trade does come through. Cassidy with the shutdown.
And that's so worth for the Cassidy. He gets a shutdown, of course, sure. LeBlanc gets an assist for this, but that's now a 4-1 Rengar. World Elite will look to get the turret in response, and they might find a beneficial trade, all things considered. V's here, though, and Swift is already at the turret to defend
Yeah,
this.
3v1. Not too sure they can get this done.
they've
We'll
got
see if
Alistar.
Nautilus can make a difference. Two-shot barrage is coming through. They're going to try and clear these minions out. They will go down. Now there's the ulti out into Xie, who'll get knocked up, but they need to peel it back. V now going to go off towards the terrain. 957 ports in as well. World Elite 4 strong now in mid lane.
Easy disengage, and they force the teleport out of 957, whereas V walked. So the big difference now is the next 5 or so minutes, you will find some strong advantages for Xiaogu in terms of map presence. The biggest concern with that is always going to be this 4-1
Yep,
Rengar.
about 10 minutes in, you can see pretty slim gold lead, really. World Elite up 300 gold with no towers or objectives really being taken just yet, but 4-1 is a good score there to start World Elite off. The early game's gone quite a bit better this time around, but a lot of it does rest on the shoulders of Condi and his Rengar. He's now going to get this blue buff prepared. I assume that's for Lulu, but he might even consider taking it for the CDR.
I'm going to wager he takes it himself at this stage. He's the one who has the money.
Yep.
He's the one who needs to be far ahead and actually get the rest of his team going. So look towards using his ultimate potentially in the top lane. Will be spotted by a ward, and look at the amount of pings coming down.
Fury has been charged there, so QG do know he's in the area. Going to have to back all the way towards that turret.
V needs to recall if he wants to have an impact in any lane at the moment because he's very low on mana, so needs to respect that fact. GA is actually in the bottom lane against him as well. Interesting dynamic and change of the lanes. Careful mid lane though, Doinby.
Does not want to get ganked again. They pretty much had to use everything to dive in, but they did get the kill. He got the shutdown last time, but he's only got Abyssal this time. Going to be fighting against Lulu and the LeBlanc, but not so good against the Rengar at this point.
Very unfortunate timing from Condi there as well. He could have actually found his way over that wall.
And Doinby's actually looking for a roam. The ping missing has been made there. Doinby is going to get spotted here by Condi. We'll clear out the ward. That ping's going to help protect a pretty important choke that Condi can't invade without fearing for his life. And Pekko back in the top side, building, of course, the blue Ezreal. It's the standard we've come to expect now that Ezreal's sort of found his way back into the metagame. I'm doing just fine here. BF Sword for Lucian, but Sheen tier there for Ezreal. So apart from the early pressure on the top side with that assist for both the support and AD, with or more dying, it's actually been pretty even. In fact, Ezreal's even up slightly in CS.
I mean, I'm most surprised that they put the LeBlanc into the bottom lane. Doinby clearly being quite oppressive towards this LeBlanc on his Cassidy. Lulu is not even in a position to trade at all, though. They've got 3 mid.
Yeah, could be problems actually, but Rengar's going to dive in. Big damage there. And the ulti actually used onto Condi as well by Lulu. V does poured in. Hook does land onto Xie. Needs to get the knock-up, does follow in, and Doinby takes out Zero on the edge there. This could be more aggression from Xiaogu. Will they look to dive?
They don't have the Ezreal here just yet. Lucian's about to turn up, and he's got wave clear with that ultimate, so we'll see if World Elite want to do something about this, but a lot of control is now in place for Xiaogu, and they're set to take this turret down.
Poke keeps coming. There's the culling out, though. He's going to be blocked by the big tanky members of Xiaogu. The minions stay alive. That's the most important thing. And they might keep the pressure on Mystic. Again, going to get chunked out by Doinby. Now Xie looking for a chain. Finds one out there onto Nautilus, but does not complete it. The tower will survive here by the looks of things. But Xiaogu again starting to pick up some of these early mistakes or early pressure from the Rengar and capitalize. Ulti out. Who's it going to hit? Unfortunately, no one. I think may have just brushed Zero there.
So this is the solo queue Rengar that everyone hates, that everyone says there's no counterplay towards. And we just saw a very cool interaction from Doinby. He has the reaction time to let the bowler hit him and then use his ultimate to get out to safety at the exact same time, wasting that very big lockdown spell from Rengar that lets him get the second rotation of it. Is an important deal, and Xiaogu, they seem to be quite refined. They know what they're doing against the Rengar, surprisingly, and they're executing quite well.
Yeah, I mean, Condi, like we keep saying, he's the big star of this particular game. He has all the kills on World Elite, and he's found some pretty good spots here, but we'll have to keep applying that pressure. And again, with no objectives being taken, there's lots of laning really right now, and V's ahead still on CS, about 20 or so. Do you see Swift winning in the jungle? Mid's even, and bots a little bit ahead there for Pekko. World Elite, they're going to try and look to make some real ground on this map and take out this tower. 3v2 right now with Rengar in reserve. V gets hooked up. Tower's going to fall perhaps here as well. It does clear it out with the Riptide. Teleports down. This is a big commit here for World Elite. They are going to go in for it, but the damage is going to be done. True Shot Barrage in. Mystic hooked and thrown all over the place as V takes him out. Now Doinby going straight into the back. Is forced to flash up at V. Flash Riptides forward. They've blocked in. Condi now is the next one. Swift is looking for targets. He'll hunt as much as he can as Condi on the backside does take out V. Will collect the kill there, but Doinby should be able to chase. Swift goes ballistic under the tower and does go down to Xie. And a massacre there. 5 kills total. 3 for 2. QG come out barely ahead.
Swift does find 957, but he pays for that with his own life as he's diving 3 people under the turret. Condi on the flip side was dealing with 3 people, and he does get V, but goes down to Doinby. And the biggest factor in that entire fight is there was no Pico. He was not to be seen. The only impact he had was the ultimate here. You can see him recalling in the top side of the map. They immediately get a pick onto Mystic, and that's what basically puts them in a fantastic position to work through the rest of this. Spears connect, and this is where Swift runs off, but this is also where Condi turns around to pick a fight with V. So at the exact same time, 2 different fights break out. The result is the exact same from these 2 different fights, but all things considered, Xiaogu, without their AD carry, actually have an even trade.
Yeah, I think they got 1 extra kill, so a slight edge there in that particular exchange. And we do see 1,000 gold up for them now. Not really a gold lead at this stage. We've gone through 15 minutes of gameplay already, but World Elite are certainly taking it to QG a bit more this time. They didn't get super far behind in the early macro game, but both champions on all sides are powering up. And especially Doinby could look pretty scary as V does get locked up here. Zero going to come in as well. That very pesky minion
is in trouble.
Actually blocking quite a lot there. Swift is now in reserve to help him. Rest of the team's coming in as well. True Shot Barrage going to clear the wave out, and everyone should be okay.
They're going to be able to reset. The bottom lane outer turrets are the easiest ones for everyone to take at the moment. And this is a game of chicken. Usually we see people take the respective outer lane turrets, and that generally would have been a dive onto V right there because there was nothing to save him. This gives time for Xiaogu to rotate around the map one more time. Their tank should be able to take this culling. Easy done.
And that's a very important turret for the first one of the game. Xiaogu will take the mid outer, and they'll rotate down. They are pinging onto the dragon. More of a formality here. Not bad to get, especially now that we are into the mid-game. 16 minutes in, they should be able to take this nice and comfortably. They'll likely lose the tower in the top lane, but only 1. And getting the mid turret, we saw that in the last game. It's probably the hardest one to break, and it's probably the most important.
Definitely is. They take the outer turrets, it's still very easy, and V's actually going to defend this one, so never mind that. One thing to note is he's walked every single time. He saves the teleport for actual fights where he is needed, and he's always in the right place at the right time.
Yep, really strong roaming here for V, because 957's going to try and do what he can. V, a little scared of potential jungler presence perhaps, but now does move in and clear things out now that he thinks it seems to be safe, and that Riptide pretty easy clearing out those waves, even with 2v1 there in the top lane. It's Pekko hanging out in the mid lane, got his Iceborne Gauntlet ready. Mystic working on the Essence Reaver, but hasn't quite got it yet.
They know exactly where Condi is. We can see a ping was put onto him, even when they don't have vision there. So Xiaogu well and truly being proactive, and they're keeping tabs on this cat every single time he shows his head.
And that's the most important thing. You need to know where Rengar is. Kind of like Nocturne, you need really deep
Cassidon's
vision.
here.
Oh, he is actually looking for Xie. Motivator's on the way for Doinby. Good slow, but doesn't have any vision because of that pink ward. Now Xie going to turn around, Q out from Doinby. Does go back in, but there's a teleport. Oh, the chain misses. Doinby going to commit all in for it. He knows which one it is. Oh, no, it is the wrong one. The ulti out there for Lulu. Xie is going to dive back in. A 957 saves the day.
And that was fantastic from Xie. Honestly, baiting the fake LeBlanc clone. Very deceptive champion, but it was utilized to perfection as he baits Doinby into using the rest of his mana pool on that ultimate to get the fake one, and there is nothing he could do there.
Yep. I mean, Doinby made the aggressive play and does get punished for it. Nice TP from 957 as well. Will now convert into some pressure perhaps in the bottom half of the map. We do have 3 members of World Elite grouping up here for this turret. There is a TP up for B, might have to burn it and will, but he will save the tier 2. Won't get the outer and top that he was working on, but it should be just fine here. Nautilus more than a threat at this point. Swift down here as well. And Xiaogu continuing to hold on to quite a few turrets. Did lose one in the bottom, but they'll be okay there. As more looking for engage, World Elite, they're already back towards their own side of the jungle.
One thing to consider here is the amount of aggression that's actually being put down by Doinby on this Cassidon. It goes to show how confident he's feeling, and this is a game where you don't want Doinby to feel confident. Because if the Cassidon's feeling like he can do whatever he wants, he can run away with this entire game. One hiccup doesn't actually slow this Cassidon down whatsoever.
And he's only going to get stronger. He actually went for a late Rod of Ages, which he's completed after dying, unfortunately, in the bottom lane.
He's still beating Lulu.
Well, looking good there. 126 to 141 as far as mid lane CS goes, but once again, 957 struggling with big CS lead again for B. Condi's caught. The Lantern did disappear. Two-Top Barrage isn't going to find him. The ulti may just save Rengar. Now Doinby going to get jumped on here. Little too aggressive. Does get blown up, but he gets out over the wall with a Rift Walk. Forced to flash there as well. Now Moore's going to go in on Condi, and that's going to be a kill for Peko. Xie trying to do what he can. Now Zero flashes over, puts the box up. Doinby still trying to get in there. Still alive for somehow, but Mystic will finally claim him. And it's just carnage here across the board. Xie doing a crazy amount of damage with the double. Pops back over the wall, and Swift and V just can't really run at this point. Mystic in reserve as well as V does get locked up, and that's going to be a triple kill for Xie. Mana's low, but could be more. Swift will just get out alive.
And Xie playing these fights very well. Xiaogu get over-aggressive. They think that they can fight in these situations, but time and again, Doinby cannot be here, and Swift might be dead.
Yep, dive. Oh, that's a huge amount of damage. Xie gets the unofficial quadra, and that's going to be an ace.
And I bet you he's very happy to have that Dark Seal right now, because Xie is in the most commanding possible position. That looks to be about 10 stacks, close to the maximum on that item. So, World Elite, they blow this game back to even, believe it or not.
And we thought Condi was the big one here, but Xie played some immaculate team fights. Now 5-0-3 on his LeBlanc at this stage. So now he's the one that's really set up to carry. And we've seen people do plenty of good things on snowboard LeBlancs. Condi is right there now, ready to carry this game.
Yeah, so the problem at the moment with Xiaogu is they're playing like their Cassidon has his own his hourglass.
Yep.
He doesn't have one of those, and he's basically getting himself killed. Looked to put some poke onto Zero in that last fight, and actually just got ignited. So that's where he's like, oh, well, damn, and just tried to go in and do as much damage as possible. And really, that was the moment that turned the entire fight around, because Xie spent the entire time kiting perfectly.
Really nice play there. As now Peko going to get caught. Xie does crazy amounts of damage. Peko knows this. Does juke out of the way of the chains nicely, but Xie starting to really put his foot down in this game. Start to take over some of these lanes. The gold lead's still there for QG, although it shrunk pretty considerably since the last exchange. Baron is up, Dragon up in a minute 25 as well. But it's only going to be the second one for QG or the first for World Elite. Right now, it's all about these mid-game fights, and Xie is king of those right now.
It definitely is. It's going to be a very dangerous game to play here from Xiaogu. They've still got a good scaling comp.
Good grab. More going to take damage. Just poke there. Couple spells there. More does not use the ulti, but if he didn't, and Xie committed to that combo, that was an easy kill. Poor Alistar. Feels so squishy sometimes.
Definitely does. He's one of those champions that's only tanky when he uses the ultimate, so it's to be expected against very strong mages in the middle lane that he takes a lot of burst. Xiaogu, that Rengar's ulted.
Yep, they're going to chase in for it. They're actually not even going in for the turret. They'll take it eventually as Condi moves back. That was sped up by the Lulu.
That was a blind Q from Ezreal to hit the invisible Rengar and slowed him down so that there was no engage. So Pico did a lot of work there, but the turret still going to fall. Xiaogu still actually lose the gold lead this time for the first time this game, I believe.
Yep, I believe so. I think maybe in the series, actually, given how game 1 went. They'll get a tower back here as well, so they'll reclaim or even the gold lead right back out.
Maybe in the LPL total, all of their games.
Maybe.
So
Ooh, Swift grab. Zero actually going to get chased down here. True Shot Barrage is good, but it's not quite enough damage. A nice box place down there. The QG, though, aren't done. They'll keep pushing. They have quite a lot of pushing power here.
They have hit a point of power. The Manamune's completed with the Frozen Fist. They've got 2 big items on 2 of their carries.
Have to be so careful
Watch
of
Condi.
GA, though. Condi around the side looking for the flank. Tower getting low. They are going to commit for it. Little dangerous. Peko starting to get some more hits in, but doesn't get it down. QG are committed here, though.
This tower is going to go down in the next wave. They need GA to recall, but he's staying around. And that is just a very easy turret to take.
Big wave bottom side here as well. Dragon is back up available also, but likely not a large concern for either team. World Elite might just swing in to get it because they can.
Dragon number 1.
The QG are going to move out and get themselves some shopping done after taking that tier 2. They're starting to open up a bit more space. It felt like World Elite really had an opportunity to start fighting and open up the map a bit more, but it's QG that continue to play very well at the macro game.
They definitely know where they have points of power, and you can see right there, they don't have vision. They're just going to check and maybe help out with the Scuttle Crab. And Xiaogu, honestly, they are still in a position where they can fight.
They're going to take this. Mystic's bottom. He's not going to make it in time. 957 can come up as well.
Has teleport.
Even if they want to fight, I don't know if they do. That's the big issue.
They want to. They're going.
Condi's ulted. They're going to go in for it. Who they found? V's actually around the side looking for a flank. He's onto GA, pops the ulti, but he's completely alone. Doinby going to try and join him, but the lantern's there for Condi. He's locked up, though. He'll just die to V. And World Elite just scattered now as Doinby goes super deep over the wall. But a flash will be forced. Mystic going to get chased down. Has to dash back with the Culling, but Peko might keep chasing here.
They've got so much vision, honestly, Xiaogu. They can just back up and do the Dragon or Baron. And right there, why would you go for V? In what situation do you think, as World Elite with a tanky build Rengar, it's not a solo Q one-hit Rengar, that you can kill a Nautilus? The answer is never. He's above half health.
And that was a nice flank, I guess, from V. Just sort of moved through the choke point and was like, well, I'm probably going to meet the enemy here, but I don't really care. And the giant tanky Nautilus, just like you mentioned. And Dragon 2 does go there to Xiaogu.
All that they're really waiting for now, Xiaogu, is the zone.
Ooh, Doinby. Oh, more! There for the trickery. Very nice play. Ezreal going to get the shutdown. Zero going to pop the box now as well, but Doinby's going to keep chasing. He is on a mission today. Wants to chase down. He gets another kill onto Zero. Looking to get low here. Does die there to Mystic. Poor KDA. Doinby starting to shred some Xiaogu's beautiful deaths. There's been more deaths in this game than I had before, as Moore does get locked up by Condi. He could be the next target. Lulu Waltzy does get popped. Swift dives in for a huge amount of AoE, but he's taking too much damage. Mystic will fall on the trade-off, though. Peko does nail that Q, gets another one as well, but Shift not up, it seems to go over the wall. Didn't want to. And this has been a bloodthirsty game. 11 deaths for Xiaogu in this game. Twice the amount they had in any other game combined before this one.
Xiaogu is Doinby playing, I'm going to say recklessly, but it's also selflessly, because he knows that if he dies and that Xiaogu get the kills for it, it's definitely worth it. They first and foremost bait GA into trying to kill him, and Moore was just sitting around the corner. Played very well from Moore, I must say. Gets that pulverize, and they find the first pick, and Doinby's like, all right, we're going to chase you until I die, because I have a blue Ezreal to back me up that will be able to slow you down. That's exactly what we're going to see here. So Doinby baits into Moore. Pico picks up the first kill, and Zero. Doinby at this situation, you can see him being careful because Mystic's there. He's like, you know what, nah, screw this. I need that kill. And then just chases Mystic. Separates him from Condi and sets up a situation where Xiaogu can fight one more time.
Well, good little fight there. As Doinby is almost at the zonies there as well. So that reckless play might start to turn into very intelligent play here. Could be rewarded for a bit more of that aggression. But World Elite are grouped up nicely here to take out the tier 2. True Shot Barrage is coming. Is going to help to clear out that wave. In fact, there it goes with the Riptide help there from V. And QG happy to chase here. But a little too far down the lane now, our World Elite. And no real buffs apart from that Baron. That could be where Xiaogu are heading. But you can see they're starting to get a little bit further ahead now. 3,000 gold up as WE just trying to claw their way back into some of these objectives and equalize this game right back up.
World Elite are just trying very hard to make picks. That's what their comp is designed to do at the moment. The LeBlanc and the Rengar need to kill someone Otherwise, they're not going to win the fight. If they engage like they did onto V and chunk the Nautilus down to 60% health, then the rest of Xiaogu's carries are just going to come in and clean up every single person remaining from the World Elite lineup.
Well, looks like we might have things slowing down just a bit here. Almost 27 minutes into this particular game. And QG are backed up towards the bottom side of the map. More actually may be caught, but does use the ulti. Doinby, nice chain there, and the Kung's going to follow in. Zero will miss the play, and the Polymorph's out, and Swift just assassinates the poor support. Now Pekko going to come in around the side as 957's dead. Shie's clones not long for this world either as V hooks onto it. Mystic just going to get obliterated there as well. And that's 3 clean kills on the World Elite push.
And Xiaogu again, not even keeping up with the kill score that World Elite have put in place. But they are still so far ahead in gold, and it just feels like every decision that Xiaogu makes impacts the game positively. They can work towards the Baron, they can try and siege the middle lane at the moment. They've got options. Every single time they do something, they have options. Whereas World Elite, they feel like they're streamlined and they're desperate.
Yep, and they just keep picking team fights and losing them. And that means QG are now up 5,000 gold in this particular game. Looking around that Baron as Doinby just wants it. He wants everyone dead at this game. Going to rip walk in again. Condi going to take the Lantern to safety. But Doinby is starting to get a menace. This is what people fear when they see Kassadin.
Yeah, he's 2 levels away from just plain ridiculous. He's got his Zonia's Hourglass completed, and Xiaogu, the team, have just said, well, this is a good time to do Baron. We just forced Condi to go back with half of his health missing.
Certainly is. Slaps down the blue trinket as well, so a little bit of vision there. Another one up. Does get denied by the sweeper, I believe. Condi looking for the snipe. Pekko knows he's there. They're just going to have to finish it. Swift! Oh my god, he missed the snipe, but Condi couldn't jump in. And now QG might start a fight. Mystic culls away. Doinby gets to about 40% health, but Doinby happy to dive back in. Shie off to the side looking for someone. Spear lands. Zero barely lifts through that one. And Xiaogu successfully get Baron.
They want the engage though, Xiaogu. They're going to have to back up a little bit right now. I would recall for some mana, consolidate the gold income that they just got, and then look to push the rest of this map down. The wave clear that World Elite have is sparing at best, because it's mostly a Lulu who's going to be sitting inside waves. And when they've got the Baron buff, a LeBlanc can't afford to do that. So they've got a culling for one wave, and then nothing for the next.
Yeah, and you could see the blue trinket's not quite lasting long enough there for vision. I think if Condi had seen what happened in that pit, he was instantly flashing to smite it away. But
yes, real Q got it.
Yes, real Q did secure the Baron. Dragging up in a minute now, and QG avoids some potential disaster and actually continue to rocket up ahead in gold. 6,500 gold up now in this particular game. And forgot to mention this, by the way, because I think it was implied. Swift's gone full damage. His spears are really starting to hurt.
Oh, it goes without saying. We've seen how much damage Swift has been putting on this map, so he'll be getting, you would have to say, the zone users his next item. It does mean that he is very easy to be killed. In saying that, Swift doesn't actually care from what we've seen from him so far. He just dives the turrets anyway because he does a lot of damage.
Yeah, the heals are starting to help as well. Again, we have this sort of two tanks in air quotes. As Doinby just going in for zero. Hook does land, but Pekko's Banshee stops it. Hook lands on for V, and he'll get the kill. Now Doinby has to get out of the way. He's getting low. Nice Sonic for the bait, and Mystic is forced to actually flash out of the way. And there's the heal and the shields there from that Locket. Rengar looking for the assassination, but Xiaogu's starting to really tighten the noose here. Doinby goes back in again. And they're just going to take this turret. Condi grabbed up there by the dredge line, forced to flash out now. And QG are just running World Elite down into and out of their own base. Doinby makes Mystic go all the way in and still gets the kill.
That was the longest queue that I've ever seen from a Kassadin, and they're not done.
So aggressive! Moore goes in and Swift collects the kill. And they're not done. World Elite are leaving their own base as Doinby is not going to die either. He will collect that kill, and World Elite's base is left in absolute rubble.
That was a headbutt into a spear that executed him. Things like that you can't actually plan and communicate. Xiaogu on every single front have just outplayed World Elite, even with small early game hiccups and getting a Rengar fed. They do exactly what's required.
It was a bloody game, but a win's nonetheless for QG. 4-0-2-0. They go undefeated here in week 1 of the LPL. They'll collect a few kills for their trouble. 16 deaths and 20 kills. A lot more than they had in their first few games, but a Nexus is a Nexus. A win's a win. Xiaogu looking amazing to